Hi, welcome. Today I'm going to be walking you through the different opportunities that UCalgary might have for you. This is discussing the student experience, different programs we have available, student supports and services, specific Indigenous supports, and also our Indigenous admission pathways and general admission pathways. To start, the University of Calgary would like to acknowledge the traditional territories of the people of the Treaty 7 region in southern Alberta, which includes the Blackfoot Confederacy, comprising of the Siksika, Piikani, and Kainai First Nations, as well as the Tsuut'ina First Nation and the Stoney Nakoda, which includes the Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Wesley First Nations. The City of Calgary, or Mackenzie, is also home to the Métis Nation of Alberta Region 3. So let's begin by talking about the City of Calgary. Why might you choose UCalgary and this city to spend your university experience? First of all, there's great benefits as we have been named the #1 most livable city in North America. We also have the #2 lowest cost of living in Canada. Beyond that, there's lots of stuff to do in Calgary. Maybe it's going to the Rocky Mountains, maybe it's floating down the Bow River, maybe you're interested in trying out all the latest restaurants, or maybe you just want to take a stroll down our vast bike and pathway network. So now moving in to the University of Calgary, we were founded in 1966, and if you compare this to most other universities across Canada, you'll find we're actually fairly young, but in this short period of time, we've managed to become the #5 top research university in Canada. This is exciting for students because maybe you have questions that you want to look into in research, maybe you've always wanted to support professors or researchers on their own projects. There's lots of opportunity there. The University of Calgary also has a 94% graduate employment rate. This means that over 9 in 10 of our graduates end up with a job in their field after graduation. Beyond academics, it's all about the student experience. What are you doing outside of the classroom? Maybe you want to take part in the community garden. Maybe you're keen on attending a students' union event. Maybe you want to go and check out a Dinos athletics game, football, hockey. Maybe you want to join a club. There's over 300 clubs on campus. Maybe you're interested in volunteering and you want to check out what is going on in terms of UCalgary Cares. Beyond that, there's lots of other organizations and centers on campus that host events throughout the year. One great way to expand your student experience and gain an edge on your peers is by taking part in work-integrated learning. This is a great opportunity in any program, but in nursing and education, you'll find that this is built right into those programs. You have the option to choose from a co-op, an internship, a practicum, or maybe a paid research experience, community engaged learning, or field experience, depending on what program you're involved in. Now looking at student supports, there are so many places you can look for support on campus if you're needing it. One of my favorites is the Student Success Center. Another great option are our wellness services. UCalgary is really built like a city within a city. So if you're looking for doctors, dentists, counselors, physiotherapists, chiropractors, any of those services, you're going to find that they're located right on campus. The final student support that I want to talk about is the Writing Symbols Lodge, and this is really the hub on campus for our Indigenous supports. They have a whole staff of about 8 members, and they offer academic tutorials, personal advising. We have elders come in to perform ceremony. Beyond that, the Writing Symbols Lodge is actually a place you can just hang out. There's also a smudge room available for students at any time, a computer lab if you're looking to do some late night studying, and then beyond that, there are other cultural programming that takes place out of the Writing Symbols Lodge. If you're not from Calgary or you've always wanted to live in residence, it is an option for you. Any student that applies before the May 1st deadline will have their first and second year in residence guaranteed. If you're wondering about the dining center, the food is actually pretty good. There's a buffet set up so that you're not always stuck with just one option per day. There's a variety. If you're thinking about why you should live on campus, there's a lot of great benefits. My favorite thing is that you're right on campus, so you're going to be close to your lectures, your labs, study sessions. You're also close to our variety of recreation facilities like the swimming pool, the Olympic Oval, or the fitness center. So now let's move into what programming options are available at the University of Calgary. We've got 8 different undergraduate faculties where you'll find these programs. What does it look like to apply to the University of Calgary? The first step is going to be submitting an application to one of our programs, which is typically due on March 1st every year. The second piece is going to be submitting an application fee, which is $125 for domestic students. The third piece is going to make sure that you submit all of the required documentation. This might be transcripts, this might be proof of Indigenous identity if it's needed for your application, or anything else that comes up in your student center. In addition to our general admission pathways, Indigenous students have access to additional pathway options to support them in their application to UCalgary. After evaluating you for our general admission route, if you're not able to be admitted, that's when we'll start using these processes. One of these options is the Indigenous admission process, which guarantees a 5% boost or 0.3 boost in all of our programs except for honors programs and social work. If we're able to admit you with this boost, we will. If we cannot, you also have the option of submitting an Indigenous admission supplementary personal statement. What this looks like is you're able to talk about yourself, your goals, your ambitions, why you're interested in particular programs, maybe why your average was lower or you're missing courses, and that'll be considered by the faculty in your application evaluation. The final option for Indigenous students is our Indigenous Student Access Program, or ISAP. And what this looks like is it's a one-year cohort-based program where you're able to start taking university-level courses and upgrade at the same time if you're wanting to. There are 3 required university-level courses that you take in ISAP. 2 of them are Indigenous Studies related, and the third is an English course. Beyond that, you have the flexibility to start taking other first-year university courses or high school level courses that you might have not taken previously or need to upgrade for future programming. ISAP is also great because there's a lot of workshops and support built into the program. Our coordinator is there to help you make decisions on what comes next after ISAP for enrolling in specific classes and making sure you meet admission requirements for programs you're looking to apply for in the future. If you're looking to be admitted to ISAP, you'll find that the admission requirement is that you complete English 12 with a 65% or higher. But if you're unable to do this, we are able to consider the supplementary process that I mentioned previously as an alternative to gain admission. Any of our Indigenous admission pathways, if you're admitted through one, will require that you submit proof of Indigenous identity to confirm your admission. Depending on if you're Inuit, First Nation status or non-status, or Métis will depend on what documents these might be. If you have any questions about them at all, please don't hesitate to reach out to us to ask questions or confirm if your documentation meets what's required. Understandably, university can be a big commitment for families, so if you're looking to see an estimate of what the cost might be like for your first year, you can check out our cost estimator in the description. This will allow for a breakdown of fees and tuition, books and supplies, and residence and a meal plan. To support your fees and tuition, there are a variety of awards that you can apply for at the University of Calgary. These are broken down into 3 categories. The first being automatic awards, which as soon as you apply to the University of Calgary, we'll consider you for. The second option is our high school entrance awards, which have a deadline of March 1st every year, just like our application deadline. This will appear in your student center. It's a quick 15-minute yes or no survey, and you'll be considered for all of our high school entrance awards. The last category of awards are our prestige awards. These are our highest valued awards at the University of Calgary. They're due on December 1st, so a little bit earlier than our other awards. They also take a little bit longer to fill out because they're essay-based questions, they're survey-based questions, and they could potentially be interviews depending on the award itself. We also offer Indigenous-specific awards at the University of Calgary. Last year, we gave away $1.6 million in award funds to Indigenous students at the University of Calgary. What are the next steps to applying to the University of Calgary? The first one should be considering what program that you're interested in, and then what requirements are required for the program. Then you should look at actually applying to the University of Calgary, which will occur between October 1st and March 1st. Beyond that, once you've applied, there's going to be specific documents that you need to submit by specific deadlines. All of this information will be able to be found in your student center after you apply. If you're considering living in residence, you're also going to need to consider when that application is due. Regardless of whether you've been admitted or not yet, this is going to be due on May 1st, so you should make sure you get it submitted on time. And then finally, hopefully you've received an offer of admission to the University of Calgary, and you'll be able to see deadlines for when you need to accept and when you need to submit a deposit to reserve your admission at the University of Calgary. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation today. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach me at indigenous.recruiter@ucalgary.ca. I'm always there for questions, or we can set up a one-on-one virtual meeting.